Hello. Ooh, as I wobble. I'd like to do a review of Run Me to Earth, a novel, a 2020 novel by Paul Yoon. Uh, set Starts in the late 60s in Laos, which is being bombarded daily by massive amounts of bombing from US bombers. Uh, this continues on for like 7 years. It's all connected with sort of the Vietnam, the incursion of kind of Chinese socialist ideas into the country, and the reaction from the Americans of trying to stop what they thought was the domino thing of socialism and all that sweeping through the country, probably anti-imperialism sweeping through the country. This centers on three teenagers, Alsac, Prani, and Noi, who are they they're all orphans. They end up taking shelter at a get really not shelter as much as they're employed at a rebel hospital, and on motorcycles they weave through all the unexploded ordnance that makes all the ground deadly, and is killing innocent, and not so killing people daily. um, and they meet a Vietnamese doctor, Vrang, who um, you know kind of teaches them a bit of French, the piano, um, all in the thing of just all this kind of bloody warfare going on. These are war children. um, and he gets, as the country is being kind of falling to the kind of the dominant socialist party. They he gets them he arranges passage out of the country, of which only some of them make it. And the novel then starts skipping from the various points of view of the different characters. It started off with Alsac, but we get points of view from uh, from uh, from Prani, from Noi, the girl of the trio, um, throughout the years, going in the 70s, into the 90s, into 2018 being kind of the final thing of the reverberations of this life. Uh, Run Me to Earth is a beautifully crafted novel. Uh, it's obviously kind of intricately structured to kind of take in kind of a full sweep of kind of this history and of the time. It's a short novel. It's only like 260, 70 pages long, but it through all its efficiency and kind of evocative language, it kind of compresses all that in. Um, and sort of left me unmoved. Um, it's one of these things of, it almost feels like it's a novel that is so well composed, so beautiful, that it doesn't, it never really connected me to uh, the horrors and the trauma that was going on around them, even as it's beautifully describing all of this trauma. Um, and maybe perhaps because of that, most of the characters felt at a remove. I mean, I know that this white Canadian who had a super idyllic, blissful childhood, in comparison to all of this. Um, it's not my experience yet. That's what we expect novels to do, is to try and bridge that gap for us. And there's a lot of people who love this novel, who find it obviously very moving. I think I got it from the Poptimist, was talking about it as one of his top novels of 2020. Um, that said, perhaps that's just a failure of my imagination, of my empathy, is that these characters seemed oddly detached to me. Um, Maybe it's the thing of we kind of skip from character to character, and in such a short novel, you don't get to kind of really get get in the heads of characters. That said, I know that there's a one little section in here where they talk about a story about a serial killer after World War II, uh, which is like, oh, suddenly like that was arresting, and like it's like of the things that I'm going to remember in this novel about Laos, about the atrocities of Laos, it's going to be this little story about World War II, which I don't know if that's because I'm not actually that knowledgeable about World War II either, or the Maquis in World War II, but that little slice there got me in a way that the rest of the thing didn't. And I mean, even that little slice is just like it's a well-told tale, and I could say, oh, that would make a great detective novel. I want that book. Um, but and as we go further away in time, we seem to get further away from the characters and further away from their experience. And I don't know if at the very beginning I actually got their experience. I was thinking about I'm really shaking the camera here. I was thinking about Michael Ondaatje's Nils Ghost, uh, which also kind of deals with kind of the trauma of a world just completely upended by war. In that case, it was it's civil war. Um, Also written in kind of a very beautiful, elusive language, but yet somehow that I think allowed me to sink into it a bit more. Even though I sometimes like I find Michael Ondaatje, the author of Nils Ghost, a little too poetic, too evocative in his language. If can be, it can feel overdone to me. Um, um, I don't think Paul Yoon is guilty of that. Yet the book is so composed, so perfect in a way that held me at a distance from actually just sort of engaging with what's sort of like the trauma of something. And I mean, there's kind of a question of like, if you're going to do something that is such kind of powerful, such raw stuff, that you should pull back as much as possible, not to over egg it, not to make it over sentimental. But I just don't know if I found that I don't think I found that for me personally, I don't think it got the mix right. And it left me kind of admiring it at a distance, but still very much this is still very much a foreigner looking at something and going, oh yes, that's terrible, but not really engaging in the way that I think you need to engage as a human being, as somebody who's interacting with the novel, but also with someone who's like, stuff like this happens in the world, and we should be aware, and we should have something more than a disinterested uh, um, taking note of, which I felt that's all I have from this. So it wasn't a success for me. Obviously, has been a big success for other people. I would definitely point you over at the Poptimist for kudos about this book. And this book is plenty and plenty of kudos. But yeah, just not for me. Just not for me. Interesting is all I can say. Which it's not where you want to be. All right, more videos later.